Welcome to another Advancing Consciousness podcast with Franco De Nicola. Today we're doing episode 25. And what are we going to look at? Do we have free will? Something that is a big question in a lot of people's minds over the years now, specifically with everything that's going on. So stay tuned and we'll get to explore it. With all of us at this time, especially with all that is playing out right now, people feel that in some way or another they may not have any free will, that somehow we are subject to other people, organizations, and systems, and so forth. Potentially authority, and sometimes it even goes as far as saying some deity or God or something of that nature is in charge of our life, and we do not have free will. Others have even explored the idea that in some way, somehow, as much as we had free will at one point in time, it was taken away from us. So we're going to clarify that today, and we're going to really look at it and see what is the truth about that. And that is a truth that's in yourself. This episode and all episodes of this Advancing Conscious podcast is to trigger what you know inside of you. As much as I share what I share, it is just to kind of activate what you already know within yourself. So, do we have free will? Well, the answer is absolutely yes, and we always had it. It can never be taken away. Regardless how the scene around us may have looked, what was said, and how it's been looked at by others that have been also sharing what they have been sharing. Now, the one thing is, in our truest form of essence, no matter what embodiment, what planet you play on, no matter where you are in form or non-form, free will always exists. That is the natural state. It's like Source saying, I'm not going to give myself the opportunity to express and experience my own self. That is never possible on any realms, and no matter what is playing out. Now, we have to understand, free will is always there. We have the choice what we choose to play with and what we don't choose to play with. Now, in the same breath, we also understand that when we are engaged with others, that others may play different roles. Now, it is our free will if we are going to interact. It's our free will how they will play with us in the sense of how we're going to engage with them, how far we go into it, and so forth. It is our free will if you even want them in your life, or if they are going to play a specific role. Now that sounds a little weird. If they're going to play a specific role, you mean I have say in the matter? Absolutely, and you always have. You know that within yourself. We're all playing roles for each other. Everybody has a specific characteristics, and those characteristics are used in one way or another to how can I say, assist each other to advance and grow in a very powerful state. So it's our free will if you are going to give instructions for someone to play a specific role. That also extends to groups and so forth. It's your free will if you want to experience not having free will, even in the idea of a deity having power over us. Now, in saying all of that, free will can never be taken away, and it's always there. However, there is one factor we need to understand. We have the free will to allow ourselves not only to forget or even know that you have free will, to have our free will shaped. So if we have any organization, systems, or deities, or anything of that nature that we've adopted as part of our experience, they can only, in one way or another, convince us, and again, that's an agreement, to how we use our free will. This is why there is so much media and focus from every organization, from every tier of projection, meaning corporations, deities, authority figures, and so forth, putting a lot of emphasis on convincing you on a particular idea so that you buy into the idea as part of your experience and then shape your free will to engage or to take on what is being shared. That is part of the educational system. It is to condition you in one way or another to use your free will to make specific choices, to feel certain ways, to respond certain ways, and so forth. So as you can see, the free will is always there. It's just the way it's utilized is really up to us, but at the same time, we can make ourselves open through our free will to have our free will shaped a certain specific way. Now, why would we do that? Well, we want to have specific experiences. We want to become empowered. We may want to see how we can transform certain experiences by going one polarity versus the other polarity to our natural state of neutrality. So it's really a beautiful dance, and the dance just continues to expand. It's never limiting in any way, shape, or form. Now, what's happening? We are being stimulated to remember not only who we are, why we're here, what role we're playing, but to also see that we are a sovereign being, but most of all, also at the same time, remembering that we have free will, always had it, and we now can be consciously focusing on how we can use it, rather than allowing, say, a unconscious state or a superconscious state to be the only recognizer of our free will. Now we're bringing that free will in a conscious state. In that conscious state, we can now see what is being offered around us. The different storylines, narratives, or whatever it is that is being presented, so that we can evaluate it, see how it may or may not serve us, and then we can choose if we want to engage, participate, or do anything else about it. So now, with all of that that's changing, the stimulation, recoding, activation within ourselves, we're becoming more empowered in that free will to utilize it from a core essence of being attentive to whatever's playing out. Now, many of us will use free will to play roles, not only for ourselves, but to play roles for others, but to also play a role on a collective scale. Those roles will be with the bigger narrative to facilitate other aspects of ourselves and the world in what we call the playground. Now, why would we do that? We do that because as we become more aware of who we are, we also recognize that we're all one. As all ones, everyone is an aspect of ourselves. And as an aspect of ourselves, we also realize for us to truly flourish and advance in a powerful state, that it would involve other aspects of ourselves, not the individualized aspect of ourselves only. And when I say individualized, that means just you as I am who I am. Now, understanding that you are everything that is, you have also participated in creating multiple facets of yourself so that you can have multiple experiences at the same time and to engage and play roles with each other to advance in a grander scale. Because as the spirit source that you are, as the creator, the created, and the observer of creation, when you create multiple facets of yourselves, many, many physical forms with many different signatures of expressions and so forth, on different playgrounds, on many, many realms, that we create even much more powerful advancements and grander opportunities to experience what would not be possible unless we did it this way. Now, planet Earth is quite in its uniqueness because we have come in as a very powerful, specialized creation, which we are all part of creating, all part of us shaping in one way or another. But at the same time, we had chosen through free will at one point to basically interact and take on an inverted matrix, an inverted world, an artificial intelligence, to accentuate polarity, to accentuate separation, to accentuate a state of losing our reference of who we are and to get lost in the game. And we did that for a very long time, 10,000 years to be exact. And here we are now reversing the whole process. And in doing so, we're just activating another level of our own free will to participate in a powerful way to transform what we call the human experience and to transform our playground we call Earth, Gaia, whatever name you want to give it. So, with all of that shared, realizing that you have never lost your capacity of free will. And you cannot use free will to create one thing or another that will condemn you for one thing or another. As much as we've been told by certain religious fashions or facts, I don't know what they call it, groups, let's call it that. I had a different name for it. I couldn't even put it out of my mouth now. But group, to convince that, yeah, we were given free will and we have free will and we have a choice to choose poorly in our free will. Well, we have to understand that is an illusionary projection from that inverted matrix, because all religions were created after the inverted matrix was put in, because prior to that there was no religion, there was no construct, hierarchy, and so forth. There was a beautiful dance and experience of all oneness playing together and creating beautiful environments to flourish and to advance in very powerful conscious state, with the opportunity to use organic third dimensional consciousness and to access fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, and allowing ourselves to upgrade accordingly and to upgrade the playground accordingly. Now, of course, we had not experienced that when the inverted matrix got put in. We went from organic 3D to inorganic 3D, or we can call inverted 3D, or reversed in some way or another, and inverted 2D. And basically what we did, we created an environment where we simulated and experienced a de-evolution instead of an evolution. And also, instead of progressing forward, it looked like we digressed, which is kind of what we experienced. And the further we digressed, the further we got lost of who we are and used less of our consciousness to create, and became, or at least chose to play, the disempowered state. And that is what we've been playing for a long time. Each and every one of us that left the planet and came back, each and every time we connected with a physicality, with a human entity, and created this beautiful unit to come and play, we would get involved and get engaged in that inverted 3D, inverted 2D, which was stimulated by the inverted matrix that was put in. And the inverted matrix is still, as much as no longer active in the sense of its transmission, and it doesn't exist, we're still playing with it because we're unraveling ourselves from that inverted matrix. So that inverted matrix also involved this AI we call the ego, that actually projects exactly that, everything in reverse. So it's not about evolution, it's de-evolution, or at least that's what it projects itself to be. And we have experienced that, but from an experiential component, but not in an actual fact. So that as much as we've experienced the inverted 3D, 2D, we're still very much aligned with organic 5D, and many of the souls had gone through so much progress that they're so much easier to shift into organic 5D, which a good, well, I shouldn't say a good chunk, about 550 million did so, and about 2.7 billion at this point in time has gone into organic 3D. And the remaining of the 8 billion, that, or 7.7 billion, or whatever the number is at this point in time, decided to still maintain the extra role, which I'm not going to get into at this point in time, because today's topic, of course, is free will. So in saying all of that, we are saying right now, what we're doing is realizing that we have this free will, that we have been convinced because of a choice we made, and we have the choice to change that, which we are doing, to actually be convinced how to use the free will, and now taking that step back and consciously realizing, consciously taking back your understanding that I do have free will and I can shape any part of it. And through my free will, I now choose to navigate even my interactions with others and also the roles that others play. So the question goes, do we have free will? Absolutely. Have we always had free will? Absolutely. Can it ever be taken away from us? Never. It never was that way. Can we or have we experienced the idea that we did not have it? Absolutely. But at some point or another, always from the depths of our being, we knew that the free will was there and that we were allowing ourselves to experience non-free will while we were being convinced to be used a certain way, the free will. Now, that convincing was also a choice from the free will. So it never really left the free will. So you chose to be convinced, but also give the instruction how to be convinced to use your free will to have that particular experience. And here you are. You had a beautiful experience. Now you're upgrading the experience. Now you're becoming more and more aware that you are this spirit source creator. You are your own creation, the observer of creation, and also the one that is expanding in your creation to actually bring your creation abilities to the next level, step by step, accessing higher consciousness and upgrading the whole human experience, bringing it back into alignment, and way above that, bringing back in alignment all our connections to bring back into alignment our planetary design so that we can experience ourselves in a grander way as we chose to do so. So anyways, now that you know, you always have free will and always will have it, and it can never be taken away from you. And this depends on how much you resonate with this, because if it doesn't resonate for you, you can still continue to believing that you may not have it and that somebody else over authority may have it. But that is a choice from your free will to have that choice. But right now, if it resonates for you, utilize the free will with a conscious state as you chose to do so. Until next time, go out and play. Thank you for your support. In the link below, if this all resonates, you would like to see more content and more focus on beautiful, powerful topics that will just kind of stimulate your own knowing so that you can advance growth, please contribute below. That is your choice. And at the same time, there are links there for the website and also to access recorded video, audio recordings of workshops that are there to support you in your journey so you can continue to advance. Until next time, continue being the awesome you that you are. Go out and play, and see you later.